What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, sports journalist here at Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with another team preview video. We're going to try to get as much of these throughout the offseason as possible. It'd be great to get every Power 4 team if we can. If you ever want to preview a certain team with me, let me know in the comments section. I'd love to get you on, get your thoughts. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Looking at Penn State for 2026, I think that we all can agree that James Franklin definitely disappointed last year. He is now the head coach of Virginia Tech. Matt Campbell steps in for Penn State. Um, this was a team that made a playoff run a few years ago, a couple years ago in 2024. And when I say playoff run, I mean they were a play or two away from being in that national title against Ohio State. They fell shy to Notre Dame. So this is a really good program historically. Obviously, we know with Joe Paterno as head coach and everything, but ever since his passing, they've had their fair share of a couple coaches. They had Bill O'Brien for a little bit. That didn't work out. And then they had the James Franklin tenure, which I think wasn't a bad tenure. I don't think it was a bad hire when I look back at it. I felt like they were a really consistent team, consistent like 10 wins, 9 wins, something in between that, right? 9 to 11 wins. They just could never get over the Ohio State and Michigan hump. They beat Michigan the last time, I think in 2018 or 2019. And then the last time they beat Ohio State, we're actually going on 10 years to 2016. And they were unranked and not even supposed to beat them that season. But I think looking at their schedule, which I'll put up on the screen here, they do go to Michigan, but they avoid the Buckeyes. So let's go ahead and look at their schedule here. I think they're in a pretty good position. We'll scroll up to the top. Um, Blue and white spring game. Again, spring games I'm not going to really pick in these previews or really touch on much. It's just a live scrimmage for the fans to kind of get a feel for the team. We'll see what they look like. Hopefully, there's highlights, and maybe we'll break down some spring games and some teams after spring scrimmages and everything. But to get the actual season started, they open with the Marshall Thundering Herd, who has an interesting history. If you ever watch We Are Marshall, it's a really good Matthew McConaughey film, about the program and that plane crash that happened. I think it was in the 70s or the 80s. I think the 70s, but anyway, that's a team that is one of the better group of five teams, I think, out there. Temple is on here, Buffalo, but let's just call it what it is. For Penn State's sake, that's a 3-0 start. Uh, they really shouldn't have any issues until they hit Big Ten play. So, Wisconsin at Northwestern, USC at home, at Michigan. Then you get a bye week on the 24th of October. You get Purdue at home, at Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, at Maryland. And then if you play your cards right, as I say, Saturday, December 5th is the Big Ten title game, which is not out of the realm of possibility, I think, for Penn State. Now, what you have to keep in mind for Penn State is a new head coach in Matt Campbell. Um, he did really well at Iowa State, and I think they offered him. I don't think Iowa State let him go necessarily, but I could be wrong on that. Anyway, um, he's now with the Penn State program. He's taken over for James Franklin, and he's doing his thing. Now they bring back some seniors, some juniors that are going to be key for this season. They bring in a redshirt senior from the portal, Davian Collins from Mississippi State. They bring back their lead cornerback, Zion Tracy, um, at corner. I mean, I could go down this list. Off the edge, you got a couple key redshirt juniors that might make the way. which I'll start an interview series soon. I want to get back to interviewing people about their teams in the off season and getting the expert analysis. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I know some of these names for Penn State. I don't know who's going to start, but you have guys back like Mason Robinson. You have a transfer, Jordan Mayer from Wisconsin. You have redshirt sophomores such as Max Granville and Aiden Props. Um, you got all these different guys coming back on defense. A couple key guys coming in, as freshmen or transfers. What is going to be interesting to see who I want to see. I want to see Tony Rojas at linebacker step up. LeVar Arrington the second. Yes, the second. His son is on Penn State. It's a legacy name right there. Is that linebacker is a sophomore from Charter Oak in California. His previous school or in high school or whatever is originally from Annapolis, Maryland. Cam Smith at linebacker is a redshirt freshman. I could go down the list. I'm not going to bore you with all of these names. Then you get to the quarterback situation. Drew Aller is not really well. I guess he's going pro because he's not listed here. So I'm assuming he did declare for the draft. He's going pro. I think he's a guy that could get drafted somewhere in April. Um, I don't think he's a day one or day two guy though. I think he's probably somewhere between 6 and undrafted free agent as far as the rounds. Rocco Beck. It's a little weird how the spelling. Anyway, he comes over with Matt Campbell from Iowa State. He's a redshirt senior. He's 6'1", 210. He's from Wesley Chapel, Florida. I've heard of it. I don't know exactly where that is. Can't be too far from me though. Running backs, Nick Singleton and company are out the door. Quentin Martin comes in at 25. He's a redshirt sophomore. Cam Wallace is a redshirt sophomore, number 26. You have Ohio State transfer who's a junior, 5'10", 206, James Peoples. Carson Hansen comes over from Iowa State. Is that going to be the key for Penn State? Well, not like the key, but is Matt Campbell going to play all Iowa State guys? Like if they transferred over from his program, are they automatically starting? I hope that's not the case because I want to see guys compete and earn their spot on the roster. But you have a lot of good talent just to close out this segment. Um, Coming back for Penn State, you got transfers coming in, you have some guys leaving out, but overall, I don't think it's going to be like a huge drop off compared to what they have had. They've had really good talent. I feel like it's kind of equivalent. I think the big thing now is the coaching aspect from James Franklin to Matt Campbell. How does it transition? We'll find out this season. You look at their schedule again, Marshall, Temple. Temple's on the road in Philadelphia, by the way. Buffalo, Wisconsin, Northwestern, USC, at Michigan, off week, Purdue, at Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, and at Maryland. I think the schedule sets up pretty fairly. I don't have the exact losses picked out, but just to kind of summarize this schedule, how I feel about it, I, I'm not even saying this is at most. It might be at most. I mean, can they hit 10 wins with this? They probably could. They do get Michigan in Ann Arbor, but they do avoid Oregon and Ohio State, teams they've had to play in recent years. So interesting there. Again, this is a team that went 7-6 last year and fired their coach. They lost to Indiana, Ohio State, Iowa. They lost close games to teams like that. They even took Indiana to the wire, the national champion. They lost in double overtime to Oregon in the whiteout. They lost by 1 to Northwestern. They just cannot win the close games. Is that something that turns around for Penn State here in 2026? Got to hear from you guys in the comments. My record prediction, go ahead and put it up 9-3. If I had to pick the losses specifically, maybe I'm looking at the Michigan game for sure, and then maybe USC at home And then I do think that Washington game is gonna be tricky. It's after Purdue and it's before Minnesota comes to town, so I think those might be your 3 losses, but again, I'm not so much on the side of picking the right losses as I am picking the right record. So I got 9 and 3, again, as mentioned, for Penn State in 2026. Gotta hear from you guys in the comments. I love y'all. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. God bless, and we'll see you next time here at Ballard Sports Media.